Deb, could you start recording? Good morning, everyone. Today being Thursday, April the 9th, 2026. That you can. The time being 9:05, I want to call the meeting of the Philadelphia Plumbing Advisory Board to order. I'm going to go a little bit off script this morning. I would like everybody to stand for a moment, please. I would like to observe a moment of silence for the unfortunate people that were involved in the chain of events yesterday with the building collapse. I would like to observe a moment of silence for them folks. I would also like to observe a moment of silence for our service people that are serving, protecting our freedom on the other side of the world and in our own country. Thank you. All right. Roll call, board members. When I call your name, please signify by saying present. Mike Bellata,
Present.
Michelle Brisbane, Bill Dobbins, Sarah Poindexter, Shane McNulty, Janice Woodcock, David Hoffmeister, Mike Ingram, Brian Gilbert, and let the record show the chairman is present and accounted for. All right, moving on. Item number 3 of the agenda, approval of today's agenda for April 9th, board.
Motion to.
Second.
Motion on the floor and seconded to approve today's agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4 of the agenda, approval of the minutes of March 5th, 2026. They were emailed to all board members on March the 19th for review and comment, none received. Board?
Motion to accept. Second.
It's motion on the floor and seconded to approve the minutes of March 5th, 2026. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries. All right. That dispenses with our housekeeping items, ladies and gentlemen. Deb, is the first case ready? Okay, can you bring them in and we'll see if they're ready to present their case? All right. All right. Mr. Kelly, could you show us on record, please?
Yes, Chair.
All right, today being April the 9th, we are here to hear case number MI 2026-001-514 for 1238 Belmont Avenue. Gentlemen, is everybody for that address ready to go? German, we'll start with you. Are you ready to present your case?
We may need to turn on speakers or something. Actually, yeah, we had.
Can you hear me?
Okay, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Okay, there we go.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Sorry about that. My name is Sherman. I am the owner of the property. I also have the plumber here as well, Rudy Tafani.
Okay, German, would you be kind enough to state your name and spelling of your name for the court reporter, please?
Sure. German Yakubov, GermanYakubov.
Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give will be true, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, who else will be testifying for you?
Rudy Tafani.
Okay, could you state your name and spelling for the court reporter, please?
Rujan Tafani, Rudan, and last name is Tafani.
Could you raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give is be true, so help you God?
I swear.
Okay, all right. Board members, prior to today, has any board member discussed any information in whole or in part with the appellate or anyone directly or indirectly connected to this case? Mike Bellata? Dave Hoffmeister? Mike Ingram? Brian Gilbert? Sarah Poindexter? Janice Woodcock? And let the record show that outside of department staff, the chair has not had any communications. All right. With that, German, I will turn the floor over to you. I'll explain a little bit how we're going to conduct the proceedings this morning. We are going to allow you and your team all the time required to explain your request, the reason for your request, and any other information you'd like to provide to the board. When that has been completed, one at a time, the board members will ask some questions of you and your team if they have any. When that has been completed, we will again afford you time, if you so need it, to provide any additional information. When that all has been concluded, we will then go offline and we will go and deliberate, and then we will go back on record. Do you understand the way we're going to proceed today?
I do.
Perfect. With that, sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you. All right. So this is so we got a refusal. Maybe I'll let the plumber talk. I'm the owner of the property, so I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to connect the stormwater pipe to I guess, the main sewer, and I guess there's an issue with that. So I could share my screen with the plans and the refusal. And Rudy, if you want to talk about what needs to happen or why we're here, that would be helpful.
All right, Chairman, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 minute because for the record, we have to establish ownership.
Sure.
The owner is listed on the official documents as Haverford Square Metropolitan One LLC. Could you please, for the record, state that you represent that entity and you are the owner of the property?
I do, and I am.
Perfect. Sorry I interrupted you. Please proceed.
No, it's okay. So I think that the issue is that there's a pipe that's in the way of us to get to the brick sewer, this 48-inch water main. So we can't go up above it, I guess. So the plumber has suggested building this custom trap that would, I guess, go underneath the 48-inch water main to get us to the brick sewer. And I guess part of that setup is against the code. So that's, I guess, the gist of it. Rudy, if you want to talk about how you see this.
So based on the depth of the storm that come outside the building, we cannot be less than 3 feet exposed under the ground.
Just a moment, Mr. Tafani, we are having some difficulty understanding you. Do you have multiple devices with you?
So I just don't know what.
I heard sorry, but I'm not sure what came after because there's an echo on your end.
So is it good now?
No, could you attempt to mute your device, please?
You hear me now?
It's still a bit garbled. Do you have my question is, do you have multiple devices streaming?
I just had my phone, but I turned it off.
I can't understand you. I'm sorry.
Just a second, please.
Rudy, could you try it again? German, while we're waiting for Rudy to work out some technical difficulties,
I think it should be
um,
right now.
still ain't working.
Yeah, it's
The
still,
plum-
you get feedback, Rudy. I think you're next to a speaker and you're talking to a microphone, or you might have a phone and a speaker next to you. That's the problem.
Let me try to do it different. Just a second.
Rudy, do you have a headset on by any chance?
No, I don't have it at this moment.
Okay, German, I'm going to direct a question toward you. The
Sure.
plumber of record is listed as Farhat Furco. Could you let the board know what relation Rudy has to the project?
I think he's Ferco Plumbing.
He works for Furco Plumbing?
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. All right, Rudy, let's give it a try.
So I think it's the same thing. But I need to log out and log in again.
Okay.
Okay, let's give that a try.
Sorry about that.
Gabby's gonna go out and come back in.
Hello, everyone.
It's a little bit better, Rudy, but hello.
Okay. All right. Rudy, can you talk to us a minute? Let's try that out.
Yes, I can talk.
Great. Okay.
Much better, much better. Okay, gentlemen, please proceed.
So in this case, we have a 8-inch storm line coming outside the building, and based on the existing utility plan that we had in the beginning, it shows that the depth of the 48-inch water main was 3 feet deep, and we assume that we can go underneath because we couldn't go less than 3 feet on top of the water main with our storm line, and we assume to go underneath this 48-inch water main, but physically after we exposed the front of the building and the 48-inch on the sidewalk, it came up that the 48-inch water main was not 3 feet deep but was 4 feet and 4 inches deep. So in this case, it interfered us going underneath, passing the water main, and then installing the trap because we have a 20-inch water main in front of us before we reach the sewer. So in this case, we cannot make that connection.
Okay, can you explain to the board how you're proposing to construct the trap that you're showing?
So my proposing was to build a curb trap passing because it's gonna be only stormwater, not related with sanitary. Um, Building a huge trap passing the 48-inch water main, and that's gonna be able and let us make the connection straight to the sewer.
And what do you propose to construct a trap out of?
It's
What
gonna be
type?
all cast iron fittings. Following respecting the code to be at least 1 feet far from the water main, and just gonna be built by us.
Okay, just establish for the record, the facility, the sewer you're tying into in the cartway is a combination storm and sanitary, correct?
It's just this is a campus sanitary and storm.
Combination, correct? Okay. All right, what we're going to do now, gentlemen, is the board will begin to ask your questions. I'll call on the board members one at a time, starting with myself, Walt Krasinski, I'm chairman of the board. My question is, you showed two other connections. Did you have any problems with them, the other connections shown on the utility plan?
We didn't had other problems with the two other connections because we are able to be on top of the water main. But the only problem here, if we go on the proposed storm connection, we cannot connect the backyard water and the courtyard.
Okay, all right, that clears a little bit up. The other two connections that you made, the storm connection, the sanitary connection, they are actually regular house traps with fresh air inlets?
Yes, correct.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And, hmm, yeah. You can, yeah, you clarify that when we get to you, if you would, please. All righty, thank you. That concludes my questions for right now. I'm gonna go with the rest of the board. Mike Bellata?
No questions.
Okay. Bill Dobbins? Do you want a mic for me?
Have you ever built a trap like this before? What is your experience?
So this is gonna be the first time. We haven't had any of these problems before. This is the first time we're querying this problem.
I'm figuring he needs to use about 23/8 pence.
Um, actually, we may not use the bands. Just it's gonna be poured or tight seals.
I'm sorry, I was a little bit joking there. I said bends, eighth bends, but,
Okay.
okay, Mike Ingram? Bill, you were done, right?
Yep.
Thank you. Michelle Brisbane? Thank you. Shane McNulty? Dave Hoffmeister?
One quick question. Has it been looked at to combine the connection that's a problem, extend that lateral to connect to the lateral that isn't a problem? In other words, I'm looking at a foot or so difference in elevation. Can the right lateral extend left and connect to
Um,
the lateral that works?
Unfortunately, no, because the proposed storm is lower than the two connections that we have made so far.
Those connections are already made?
Those two connections, 10-inch connections, are already made, and they are more higher than this 8-inch proposed line because we couldn't stay in the same level because we couldn't catch the stormwater in the back of the building.
So the connections that were already made are indicated to be at 104.66,
Yes,
and the new connection is coming out at 105.3.
yes.
That indicates to me that the connections that are already made are deeper.
If physically, because when we go by the plans, the measurement on the plans is not doesn't correspond with existing field condition.
Understood. I have no further questions.
Thank you, Dave. Brian Gilbert?
Yes, so what is your proposed slope on this 8-inch rainwater?
116 per foot.
1/16 per foot. What is your total distance from the building foundation wall where the building sewer begins to where you're proposing your curb trap?
Um, don't have that right on my.
So it looks like the sidewalk's 20 feet, and I don't know if these are to scale or not. So, but I believe the water main is in the sidewalk, right?
German, let me interfere. The line, the property line, the distance on the property line to catch the backyard from from the
from back here to the front.
yes.
I can get that for you. Give me one sec. I can get that.
And
One sec.
you're saying this particular rainwater is an issue because you're picking up courtyard drains?
Yeah,
In the backyard.
yeah, the backyard. The issue is there is no sewer in Thompson Street, so we have to pretty much run it all the way from the back of the property to the front. So it's a quite a long run. I believe it's 100 feet. Might be more than 100 feet actually.
Is this running completely under the structure, or do you go out to an area where you would have no structure above you?
It's only the courtyard has no structure.
So you have to maintain your 3-foot depth requirement there?
Yes.
Okay, I have one more question. This curb trap that you're proposing, you plan to build it in field. How do you plan to build it?
Just recast our materials.
What fittings?
Elbows, 45s, underground, band, and tight seal.
Underground band?
Yeah, heavy duty band.
Underground band's prohibited except for in the case of a curb trap replacement.
We can use just hub fittings.
So service weight pipe, do you plan on using lead and oakum joints or push gaskets?
Push gaskets.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Janice Woodcock? Janice, can you turn your microphone on, please? Thank you.
Thanks for that. Were the pipes in this site already installed when you discovered the condition in the street?
Yeah, the pipes on the building were already installed.
So the variance is being caused by not doing the street work first?
Yes.
No further questions.
Thank you. Sarah Poindexter?
Well, can you walk us through the improvements on the site? I'm kind of having a hard time understanding all the hatch marks and what's building, what's.
Sure.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks. You just walk us through the improvements on the site, what's building?
Sure. So it's a new 5-story, new construction of a new 5-story building that occupies a little over 110 feet from the street to the rear of the property, with a courtyard in the middle here. So there's 73 apartments in this building.
So there's a courtyard in the middle. Did you say that what's in the rear that's kind of causing the issues at the end?
The rear, it's an open yard / parking lot.
That's a parking lot back there?
Yeah.
Okay, and where is your curb cut for the parking lot? Just trying to.
Right here. Whoops, sorry.
Okay, great.
Yeah. That's the driveway.
And then on Thompson Street, you said that there's no sanitary line, is that correct?
No, only water. I wish there was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if we go back to the utilities that are serving your site, what kind of survey did you do? Did you do down measurements at the manholes to confirm the inverts, or is this just from the PWD as-built?
Was from PWD.
Okay, so there wasn't any field confirmation?
After we exposed this proposed, we followed the PWD information, and the only information that we had was utility plans and the measurements on the utility plans, and that's how we run the storm line on the building. But after we exposed the sidewalk and the field, was different measurements were occurring. So that's gives us the problem.
Sorry, after you expose the sidewalk, can you go through that one more time? I'm still kind of having.
So after, if we go through the utility plans, what utility plans provided us the information about the depth of the utility on the street and the sidewalk, we followed those plans and we ran the storm to the building. After we got everything ready to make the connection to the street, then we saw that those measurements didn't match with the actually utilities on the field.
Okay, can you go through, so I see a 20-inch water transmission main with 6 foot 6 cover. Is that the label I'm seeing?
Look at the benchmark elevation.
Like close to the benchmark? If you go to the benchmark in the road and then go to the right of that, it says 20-inch water transmission main. Keep moving to the right of that. There we go, 20-inch.
Yeah.
Is that label correct?
20.
So the 20-inch water main is not 6 feet 6 inches; is more deeper physically on the side.
That's deeper than 6 foot.
Yes.
Okay, so if you go back to your cross section. So why does that show 48 inch? Does that upsize at the location?
So this is on the sidewalk.
Oh, I see. It's under the sidewalk. Okay. Why did you put a 40? Okay, so that's deeper. And then the 48 inch is in the sidewalk. And you're saying that there's a sewer lateral and a storm lateral that are able to go over the 48-inch water main, make the connection.
Yes.
Because this one has such a long way
Distance.
to go. And can you show again on your site what is the area that's kind of causing that long storm run?
You mean from here out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole site is 200 feet deep.
Yeah. I guess my concern is that it looks like it's a pretty flat site. Like, what kind of analysis did you do for the hydraulic grade to make sure that this isn't going to back up the system, adding this type of dip in your line?
That's Kenny. Are you on the line? Kenny Lynn. Yeah. Kenny. I see him on here. They're from the. Let me see if you can hear us. Let me text them real quick. They're the civil engineer.
I guess one more question too, just what's the depth of the line running on the site? Like, what kind of cover are you proposing in the rear?
On the rear, it's almost 3 feet deep.
Did you consider shallowing that line to see if maybe you could connect to one of the other mains above the water main?
We can't, because we already had a storm, and in the back of the building, the existing 10-inch, it comes higher than the parking itself.
Hello. This is Kenny. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I had trouble unmuting.
Timeout, Kenny. We're gonna have to swear you in. You haven't been sworn in yet. Kenny, could you please state your name, name and spelling of your name?
Hi. Yeah, my name is Kenny Lin. So that's Kenny, and then last name is Lin.
Could you please raise your right hand?
It's risen.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is true, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Yeah, sorry, could you repeat your question, Sarah?
Yeah, so Kenny, I'm just trying to understand the stormwater management on the site. Are you retaining all storm on the site? Does this trigger like stormwater requirements?
Yeah, this triggers on the PW's technical stormwater management requirements. So yeah, we essentially have to retain all the water on site.
Okay, and I'm just trying to understand what other solutions were considered before this one. Like, did you look at shallowing the pipe on site or adding more fill, or was there any way to actually go over this water main by, testing different solutions on site?
Unfortunately, no, because like I guess like since this is the utility plan that German's sharing, it doesn't really show like the grade. But starting from like the rear of the parking lot, it actually flows towards the rear, towards like the next street. So we're kind of fighting grade at that point, and to maintain like the cover requirements, like the 3 foot cover requirements, we were unable to really go any higher. But each of the drains do have like I guess the top of grade and invert elevations. So,
And there was a green roof here as well.
Kenny, did you do any analysis, like a hydraulic grade analysis, to see what would happen with adding this dip in your line? As far
you
as
talking about this new trap currently?
yes. Mm-hmm.
I have not.
Okay. And I guess just the last question I have is, I'm assuming that this isn't a possibility since there's a 48-inch main there, but did you work with PWD at all to see if an extension along Thompson Street would be a possibility for sewer?
Oh, I have not.
Okay. All right. That's all my questions.
Thank you, Sarah. I have a couple follow-up questions, if I may. Could you please, all right, I'm at the detail with your proposed trap. So my first follow-up question is the downspouts and the area drains, are they independently trapped?
No,
They're not.
they're not.
Okay, that's my first question. That's it. So my last follow-up question is, has there any consideration been given to placing a regular house trap on the other side of the 48-inch water main and then travel the 8-inch storm directly over top of the water main, drop it down into a regular cast iron trap and then connect it to the sewer? Is there enough room there? To me, your drawing indicates that there would be. The back end of the trap would be in the street, but the fresh air inlet would appear that it would still be on the sidewalk. Has there any consideration been given to that?
So, but still, in this case, the reason why we're suggesting the huge curb trap is because we need to find a way to pass this 48-inch main because we cannot stay under the 20-inch main. We have to stay on top of the 20-inch main. We cannot tap the sewer on the bottom until this is only storm water. There is no sanitary related. Um, that's why the curb trap was not giving us any problem with clogging or any other issues.
All right, I guess let me ask the question in a different manner. The 8-inch storm pipe coming from the building that you're showing on your utility plan, elevation wise, can that pass directly over the 48-inch water main?
No, because my pipe passing outside the building is I hit the 48-inch water main.
So you have a bust there.
Yeah.
All right, that's my only follow-up question. Any other board members have any follow-ups? Mike?
Just one. Maybe I missed this. Is the building itself already completed? Or are you
Yeah, it's pretty much. Yeah.
so you're at the point where you're just trying to do your tie-in, all that storm
Yeah.
in the building is installed? Okay, thank you.
Correct.
Stand by. Dave Hoffmeister.
I'd like to share screen here. Everyone can see my screen?
Not yet.
Yep.
So looking at the plumbing floor plans, have you guys looked into, my original question was, have you looked into extending this lateral deeper down to this one? And the answer was, it would not work. My second question would be, have you looked at taking this rear area drain to the adjacent rainwater conductor or exterior lateral here and begin your lateral at the courtyard area drain so as to rise this? Have you guys looked into potential solutions other than the curb trap?
Sarah, how could you miss that?
I guess like I can speak from our side. We have not. I think one of the main problem is a lot of this is already installed. So, um, and so we're just hoping that this solution would work.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, Dave. Does anyone from anyone from your team have any follow-up information they'd like to provide to the board?
No, it's my first time here, so I'm not sure what feedback. I guess we'll wait to see what you guys come back with, and if there's any feedback, and we could.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
love the, you know, we're trying to find the most efficient solution.
We can see that. And
Yeah.
all right. Board members, any follow-ups before we deliberate? Shane.
What did they say their original depth they were given by the water department was?
The question is, what was your original depth given by PWD?
Was it 3.5 feet, Rudy?
Yeah, it's on the plans. I
Yeah.
can open the plans.
It's about 1.5 foot difference from what's the field, and we didn't think. I think there was an issue because the connection that we initially made, right, didn't have an issue.
We didn't have an issue with that.
Yeah. So this was, I wouldn't say an afterthought, but this was planned after the fact, and we didn't realize that there was going to be a huge elevation difference. One between the front and the back. We also thought there may have been a sewer on Thompson Street to see if we can go out that way. We couldn't go out that way. So I guess when they started digging, they found the discrepancy of, you know, I guess it's a 40 feet difference from the initial tie-in down closer to Thompson Street to where this one is proposed. And there's a big slope down Belmont Avenue.
From the design team, have you considered code section 1002.4, the maximum and minimum depth for trap seal? Has that been looked at?
I'm not sure, but I don't know if Kenny's on the design team. When you design, mean a plumbing engineer? Kenny, you're not a plumbing engineer, right?
Plumbing engineer now. I'll defer the plumbing questions to Rudy for the traps.
Yeah, we don't have a plumbing engineer with us. It was Hugh Tech.
Okay. Sarah?
Yes, one more question, because I'm not sure how to scale your cross section is, but it seems like your curb trap invert is below your connection invert to the sewer. Has that been verified?
Rudy?
So the bottom of the trap, yes, it goes below the sewer itself. Just the bottom of the trap.
So is this just becoming like a pressurized main? I mean, you're just waiting for the buildup behind the drainage to get high enough to force it?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. At this time, what we're going to do, gentlemen, is we're going to go offline, go off recording, and we will step out and we'll be back shortly. Mr. Kelly, can you show us off record, please?
Yes, Chair.
Mr. Kelly, can you show us back on record, please? Paging Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Back on record. We continue to hear case number MI 2026-001-514. For the record, German and your team, the second part of the refusal for this particular permit indicates a separation issue under code section P 703. It's been the determination of the board because you have established that your connections will be cast iron and your pipe leading from the building is cast iron. The board has concluded there is no separation problem.
Thank you.
All right. With that, for the main refusal for the trap, board, what say you?
I motion to deny the appeal.
There's a motion on the floor and seconded to deny the appeal for 1238 Belmont Avenue. I'll poll the board individually. Mike Bellata,
Deny.
Mike Ingram, Janice Woodcock, Dave Hoffmeister,
Deny.
Brian Gilbert,
Deny.
Sarah Poindexter. And the chair votes no. By a majority vote of the board, your appeal for the alternate trap design has been denied. What we would like to do now is explain to you your right to appeal. You have a right to appeal this board's decision with the Board of Building Standards. That can be done through board's administration if you choose to go that route. You will be receiving a letter from board's administration in approximately 2 weeks with our decision. Right now, we will be happy to try and answer any questions that you may have within reason. Jeremy?
Sure, thanks. So just to clarify, the second part of that refusal, it was issued in error, or is that part of the refusal?
It was not issued in error. It was issued because there were different materials discussed preliminary through the process. Now that you have determined that the line coming out of the building is cast iron and your other lines coming out of the building are cast iron, and they're not within a 5-foot proximity of a non-metallic main, that we're considering that null and void.
Okay. So on a revised submission, we would just mark that it was cast iron and the refusal would.
That's correct. Your latest submission indicates cast iron, which poses no separation issue.
And then as far as the main refusal, is there an alternative proposal that would have been acceptable for this, that if we amend our plan, that might be reconsidered in a favorable way?
So the board doesn't have the latitude to make alternate suggestions or give you advice on your design work. You've heard through the testimonies that there were some questions where we asked you if this was considered and that was considered. What I would suggest that you do is take them questions, under very careful advisement.
Understood. Thank you.
They're potentially, your design team may be potentially able. I would also ask your design team to carefully look at Chapter 10 of the 2018 Philadelphia Plumbing Code. You may discover that there may be a solution, there may not be a solution. Again, we don't have the authority to give you alternate engineering suggestions.
Understood. All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for coming to see us. With that, testimony in case number MI 2026-001-514 is concluded. Mr. Kelly, could you show us briefly off record, please?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kelly, could you show us on record, please?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you, sir. Continuing with today's agenda, item number 6, we will be hearing case number MI 2026-001-879 for 1801 Market. Mr. Hoffmeister, do you have anything for the board?
Yes, based on the fact that I have discussed information with members of BALA, I will recuse myself from this case.
Thank you. Let the record show board member Dave Hoffmeister has elected to recuse himself from these proceedings for 1801 Market Street. Thank you. Gentlemen, one at a time, could you please state your name for the court reporter, and I'll swear you all in at one time?
Sure. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Morning, everybody. My name is Tom Breyer, Tombrier.
And you're here representing?
The owners of 1801 Market. I'm an attorney at Blank Rome.
Attorney, okay.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. James Thomas Gardler, Gardler, representing Bala Consulting Engineers. We did the MEP design for PMC.
Good morning. John Mulholland, JOHN MULHOLLAND. I am the plumbing contractor, Mulco Mechanical.
Andrew Feldman, ANDREWFELDMAN, and I am with PMC Property Group, Director of Construction.
Perfect. Gentlemen, if you could all raise your right hand, please. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give will be true, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Let the record show that all 4 appellates voted in the, mentioned in the affirmative. Struggling over words today. Board members, prior to today, has any board member, with the exception of Mr. Dave Hoffmeister, discussed any information in whole or in part with the appellate or anybody directly or indirectly connected with this case? Mike Bellata?
No.
Mike Ingram? Janice Woodcock? David, Habit? Brian Gilbert?
No.
Sarah Poindexter? And outside of department staff, let the record show the chair has had no communications. Gentlemen, as you heard, the way we're going to conduct our proceedings today, and thank you for being in person, we appreciate that. What we're going to do is we're going to allow you all the time that you need to explain the nature of your appeal, the reason for your appeal. What we're going to do is we're going to break this down into 2 components, because there's 2 separate refusals here. The first refusal that we're going to take up is going to be that of the branch vent sizes. When we have concluded our questions and testimony regarding that, then we'll move on to the second component of this refusal, which is the use of non-metallic materials in buildings above 150 feet. Is that acceptable to you, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So with that, you've certainly see how we did things. We appreciate your patience in sitting through the first hearing. Whoever wants to start, please proceed. The floor is yours.
I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Gardler here, our engineer, and I think he's going to share his screen as well.
Morning again, everybody. So what I'd like to do here is, so in regards to the venting, which we could start with first, if that's okay with everybody.
Shane, can you turn that TV around? Thank you, Matt.
There
I know you're a little vertically challenged, that's why I asked Shane, but
we go. So
let
just
the record show the chair loves the solicitor.
So to give an overall high-level view of the project, at 1801 Market 10 Penn Center was an existing office building. The intent is to convert floors 17 through 27 to residential spaces while maintaining the lower levels of the building, floors 1 through 15 as office space, with the 16th floor being the mechanical room. So as part of our sanitary and venting design, all of the residential work was brought down to the ceiling of the 16th floor. I'm going to go to our response in the request for the appeal. To kind of repeat the code, which, P919.5.1 vent requirements. Every branch horizontal soil pipe or waste pipe to which a group of 2 or more fixtures is to be connected shall have a vent of the same size as the branch by extending the full branch size as through the roof. Connecting the vent stack 6 inches above the highest fixture, or connecting to the vent stack 6 inches above the highest fixture connected to the branch. Horizontal branch from the base of the stack to be connected to the building drain. So our response to this is branches in question collect individual stacks. The vents for these individual branches and stacks are the same size of the branch or connected stacks in compliance with the state code section. The branches in question that do not include full-size vents, the same size as the branch sizes, are satisfied by the individually connected branches or stacks as the venting for these branch sections are in compliance with table 919.9A. For the totalized connected stack fixture unit loads are varying lengths of venting for the corresponding section of branch. All branch venting meets the intent of the code relative to the single stack method of venting. And what I'd like to also add, which we've noticed after submitting this response, we want to bring to the board's attention that the entire 16th floor is a mechanical equipment level, and the stand pipes meant to collect condensate discharge documented on the branch piping at the 16th floor ceiling can be eliminated and not connected to the horizontals. We will, to avoid and prevent potential trap seal issues, as there are existing floor drains on the 16th floor. We will utilize the existing receptacles on the 16th floor to take the condensate drain down to avoid that issue. We recognize that. We will update the drawings to address that. Removal of those standpipes results in a vented sanitary collection system more in line with the intent of the plumbing code. I can show the riser diagram. There's essentially from 16 up is collecting all the residential stacks. And of course, as we mentioned, the HVAC condensate stacks will be connected to floor drains now in the 16th floor mechanical. Is there any questions?
Anybody else would like to add? Anything else? Okay, so as you know, what we're going to do is the board's going to answer some questions one at a time as I call on them. So I want the record to indicate, if I understand you correctly, on drawing number PO.12A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, all individually connected fixtures on the horizontal branches marked TSP are going to be eliminated?
Correct.
Okay.
And they will drain now into the floor drains in the mechanical room.
Perfect, perfect. That was the only question I had. Mike Bellotta,
No questions.
Janice Woodcock, Michelle Brisbane, Sarah Poindexter,
No questions.
Shane McNulty,
No question.
Bill Dobbins, Mike Ingram, Brian Gilbert.
I just have one. Probably you already answered, but I want a clarification. So essentially you're changing the building's usage going to residential from the 17th floor and up, and these branches are more serving as, say, the residential building drain,
Correct, sir.
which if this was underground would be fully compliant with the Philadelphia Plumbing Code. You do have a full-size vent.
Correct. Correct. Yes, that's on. Show that. full size
Yeah,
down for the
15
building,
vent.
15-inch through the roof.
Thank you.
Sir.
All right, any follow-up information regarding vent sizes from the appellate team? How about from the board? Any other follow-up questions on event sizes, branch vent sizes from the board? Hearing none, we will move on to the second component of the refusal and appeal, which is high-rise material for the use of PEX piping in the individual demised dwelling units in buildings above 150 feet.
Yes, sir. So to approach the rejection of code section P 605.4.1, the required use of metallic piping in buildings exceeding 75 feet in height. Our response is the material used for the project when compared to copper meets or exceeds the performance standards. PEX's flexibility compensates for lower burst pressure via expansion under surges, matching copper's rigidity. Expansion tanks and pressure reducing valves are used identically to manage stack effects. We would also like to add PEX system mitigates fire and installation risk through press fit or compression connections, eliminating open flame soldering, continuous runs with fewer fittings, reducing leak potential, installation within fire rated walls, maintaining compartmentalization in apartments similar to copper, and being fully internationally code compliant. For the pressure and height considerations, PEX is rated up to 160 PSI at 73 degrees F, sufficient for buildings exceeding 150 feet. It's compatible with pressure reducing valves and pump systems to ensure hydraulic compliance. It's tested and proven in high-rise domestic water systems for multiple stories outside of the region. It's an equivalent in performance compared to copper, equivalent or superior when compared to copper. It has corrosion and scale resistance, critical in older adaptive reuse structures. It reduces joint count, lowering long-term leak risk, and the freeze and thermal expansion resilience, minimizing burst potential. A couple other things I'd like to note is that PEX has a national acceptance and proven use. It is recognized under IPC, ICCES, IAPMO standards, and is certified NSF, ANSI 14 and 61 for potable water. And the last piece of information I'd like to add is similar in compliance with the mechanical code and the use of PVC in compartmentalized sections of multifamily buildings using PVC for condensate drainage. PVC exists in the mechanical code and acceptable. We're looking for a comparison for PEX as comparable of use in an apartment in the proper design approach and compartmentalized with fire resistant ratings.
Anybody else? Okay, so then we'll proceed with questions regarding component number 2 of the refusal. I guess what I'm going to ask you to understand is, I guess, the nature of your request. I mean, why, is there a reason why you can't maintain the intent or the spirit of the code as it's written for high-rise materials?
I would say I can't say there's a reason why we couldn't do copper.
Okay.
Can't really speak.
Well, then I guess let me rephrase my question then. Then why are you asking for this relief?
I believe because of the ability for instance. I'm sorry, I don't want to speak for Andy.
Andrew Feldman again, with the ownership. And the nature of our request is more from a comparable material, in the installation as well as a speed in a existing building as opposed to a new building. And we just felt that it was a better fit for the building and what we were trying to accomplish in the building.
I'm not 100% certain that answers my question completely, but so I'll follow up. Your design, is it a Matablock system with home runs to each fixture?
Yes, sir.
And you're suggesting that space-wise and installation-wise, that would be easier than one common copper line?
I would say from design perspective, integrating with existing structure and working with a footprint that when converting from residential to office is not always conducive. You're dealing with it, existing conditions. It definitely facilitates easier installation while working around adding HVAC, adding multiple pieces of equipment in the space. The flexibility and the ability to work around with PEX definitely accelerates our ability to get the building operational faster than it would as if it were running copper.
Your average residential dwelling unit, how many plumbing fixtures on average? I know there's some vary. On average, how many fixtures are contained in any given unit?
About 5.
Yeah, probably 5 or 6 per unit.
Mr. Kelly, that was Mr. Mulholland answering that question. So 5 or 6. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're suggesting that it's easier to run a dozen individual lines as opposed to 2 lines, one hot and one cold?
Because of the pathways that can be taken and the flexibility of it, yes, suggesting that.
Let me back up 1 second. We are not installing a mana block system. We're installing the PEX pipe, basically same way we install copper. There's no mana block, so we're not running a home run to every fixture.
Apologies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. My bad.
No, I'm glad we cleared that up because I kind of couldn't wrap my head around that for a second. So it's simply ease of installation and that's it? That's the basic nature of the request?
That's correct.
There's, I don't know what my latitude is here, Mr. Solicitor, but there's no cost component to be considered here, or?
Andy Feldman again. Just, clarifying, my understanding is that from what we're coming in for, it can't be based on a cost component. If you're asking the question of, is PEX, more cost effective than copper, the answer is yes.
Okay, all right, I'll leave it at that. I think I have general perspective down. We'll proceed with the rest of the board. Mike Bellata?
Walt asked most of the questions, so there's no real specific hardship. But John, what kind of PEX are you using? Like a PEX A? Are the fittings going to be plastic? Will they be brass?
Yes, the fittings are brass with the O-ring clamps.
The standard PEX size
Standard
where the
PEX.
ID is going to be smaller than the typical?
No, half-inch, same size
size.
as copper. Yep, 1/2 and 3/4 inch.
No fire rating issues. We're not going through any fire rated walls. You don't have to worry about any fire rated assemblies.
No, everything's confined within the unit.
Maybe someone else on the board can answer, but you are using PEX. You are using a plastic material on a higher floor. I don't know if that affects. Is there any consideration to the effects of using something that has a different burn rate from copper if, in the event of a fire? Any other fire rating of the? I don't know if you're required to change anything in the building code standards. I mean, is there any, even if it's a standard or not, is there any thought into that?
I was just saying, we're referencing similar, it's a similar approach as it is in the mechanical code, although this is not the mechanical code as PVC. Similar flame spread, similar requirement. There's still requirements for us isolating it and make sure we're not going through rate of penetration.
Gotcha.
And we're following those.
And those floors are being completely gutted. You're not doing anything. You're not saving anything on those floors, correct?
Correct.
That's all I have.
Thanks, Mike. Mike Ingram? All right, Bill Dobbins? Shane McNulty,
No questions.
Michelle Brisbane, Janice Woodcock, Sarah Poindexter, Brian Gilbert.
Morning. So one of your points here was that you're gonna have less joints and less potential for failure, but you just stated you're running it not in a mana block system. It's gonna have just as many joints as a copper fitting system would have, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, you mentioned the ease of being able to get around the HVAC systems. Can you explain to me, or are you using an air handler, or using a heat pump? Is there ducting in?
Yes, sir. There will be fan coil units with ductwork distributed out through the apartment to hit each room with diffusers. So this allows us, with the air handler close proximity to the bathroom, to move around those systems and use space efficiently in the ceiling.
Now, I'm looking at your drawing. My computer's giving me a hard time. I can only zoom in so much. It appears to me that the majority of your bathrooms are up against the mising walls.
Correct.
And your statement is that that does not, having non-metallic piping inside that demising wall and penetrating that demising wall does not affect the fire rating ratedness of that wall.
We are providing, yes, let me share my screen. So looking at a typical floor plate in the areas that we are providing fire safing where it goes through any rated assembly. The partitions between the apartments, I'd have to check the architectural, but I believe that's a half-hour rating between, and I don't want to speak for the architect. 1 hour.
It's really what we do. It takes it closer to an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, but not a 2-hour rating. So we are still complying with the hour and a half rating for any penetration through that wall.
Because the exception in 605.4.1 requires metallic piping to pass through that demising and fire rated wall. You will be penetrating one side of that system, and a fire rated wall is a system. It requires fire rating on both sides.
We're going through the interior side of it. The exterior, or in this case, the demising wall on the hallway side is 2 layers of drywall on the hallway side. So it gives us a fire rating on the hallway side.
So are you topping those walls off?
Topped off to
both sides?
Yes.
And your fire rating comes from
fire caulking on top and through the penetration that goes into the cavity.
That's between each unit.
Between each unit and in
Between each unit and
corridors. And your proposal is to use metallic piping for risers and all horizontal means in the common areas.
That's correct. Anything going through floor or anything in common areas is metallic.
Okay, just 1 or 2 more questions here. Can you give me a good idea of what percentage of PEX material is made using recycled materials?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
PEX, what percentage of PEX is manufactured using recycled materials?
I can't give you that fact.
I don't know. I do believe the answer is 0. What about copper?
I do not.
It's around 60%. I'm going to ask on the other end, when it is taken out of use, can PEX be recycled?
I would assume no.
It cannot. The percentage of copper tubing, copper piping, or metallic piping that is recycled when a building reaches the end of its usefulness is quite high. Would we agree?
Agreed.
It's a more environmentally sound material, copper. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So I do have one follow-up question that may or may not, we don't have any of the architects here, right? Just mechanical design and installer. Is anyone on the appellate side who are with us today aware of building code requirements between the delineation between 75 foot, 150 foot, and above 150 foot? Does anyone have any?
For specific to Philadelphia, understanding that PEX is allowed up to 75.
No, I'm talking in general, the general building code. Is anyone aware of that? Are there any other triggers when the building exceeds 150 foot in height?
I do not know at this time, but I have to research.
No,
that.
and that's that's a fair response. You're the mechanical guy. Because it's the board's understanding that when a building exceeds 150 foot in height measured from the lowest level of fire department vehicular access, that it triggers additional
Yes, sir.
building requirements, that especially with life safety and fire protection. So that's something, that's just something.
Agreed.
I mean, I do have a general understanding of it, but a lot of what it triggers, would be in the general fire, with sprinkler and stair tower pressurization and stuff like that, not necessarily in the products used above 150 feet.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Great question. Board, anybody have any follow-ups? Gentlemen, any follow-ups before we go and
I'm good.
deliberate? All right. Hearing none, with that, Mr. Kelly, could you show us briefly off record, please? Mr. Kelly, can you show us back on record, please, Mr. Kelly? Gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We're here today. We're continuing to hear case number MI 2026-001-879 for 1801 Market. As we stated in the beginning of the proceeding, we're going to break this into two components. Component A that we're going to vote on is the size of the branch fence, the horizontal branch fence. Board, what say you?
I motion to approve with the provisions that will be stated by the chair.
Do I hear a second?
Chair, excuse me, this is the court reporter. Could I ask that you identify who made the motion and the second, please?
Mr. Brian Gilbert made the motion. Mr. Mike Bellata seconded the motion.
Thank you.
The provisions that are stated for granting this request is that as per drawing PO.12A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, all single horizontal fixture connections marked TSP will be removed by on the drawings. Guys understand that?
Sir.
Okay. We will proceed to vote. Mike Bellata,
Approve.
Mike Ingram, Janice Woodcock,
Approve.
Brian Gilbert,
Approve.
Sarah Poindexter.
Approve.
And please let the record show that the chair votes in the affirmative. So on the component A of the request to modify the vent sizes of horizontal branches has been approved. As per component B of the request and the refusal, the use of non-metallic pipe in demised dwelling units in a building above 150 feet. Board, what say you?
Motion to deny.
Second.
All right, there's a motion on the floor and seconded. Motion was made by Brian Gilbert, seconded by Mike Bellata to deny the request for the use of non-metallic materials in demised dwelling units above 150 feet in height. I'll poll the board. Mike Bellata,
Deny.
Mike Ingram, Janice Woodcock, Brian Gilbert,
Deny.
Sarah Poindexter. And let the record show that the chair votes in the negative. Gentlemen, what that means is the second part of your request, we're considering component B for the use of non-metallic materials in buildings above 150 feet has been denied. You do have an outlet for appeal. Should you choose to do so, you can appeal the decision of this board to the Board of Building Standards if you choose to do that. You will be receiving notification, official letter from boards administrations probably within a 2-week period of time. At this time, we'd be happy to try and answer any generic or general questions that anyone may have.
I know from before you kind of said you can't go into specifics except for going back, but is there a specific reason why the denial is being made in terms of everything code-wise?
There were several reasons that we used in the code and in the charter for denial. There were several reasons. The one biggest reason is we have nothing to approve it based on. So we have basis for disapproval, but we have no true basis to approve it. Our parameters for approval and disapproval are limited. And when we look at the parameters for approval, we could find none that we could point to, basically.
Could you just tell me what the parameters for approval are? So that, like, you know, if we were making an argument in the future, even if it's about something else, that tailor what our argument is.
I don't think we.
So I ask my board members to refrain from giving legal advice. I think this borders on that. I would say you could look to the administrative code and Title IV of the Philadelphia Code for some of the bases for variances. This is, the PAB is underneath the Board of Building Standards in that sense, in the code sense. So you could start looking there.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem, gentlemen. We appreciate you coming to see us today. And if there's no other business, case number MI 2026-001-879, testimony has concluded.
Thank you. Thanks again. Take care.
Mr. Kelly, you can show us off record now, and you may be excused with our thank you.
We are off the record, Chair. Thank you, and thank you to.
All right. You can stay on, we're going to stay on recording. I need them too. Okay, board members, continuing on with today's agenda, item number 7, unfinished business. Does anyone have anything under unfinished business?
I believe this would fall under unfinished business, Chair. I come back to licensing. The department has been helpful with me for licensing for my members, but I'm slightly confused, and I'd like about the requirements for proof of employment. They have changed, and we speak to someone at LNI, they say, "Oh, we changed it on our website." Is changing it on a website acceptable, or does that fall under Title IV, fall under the Philadelphia Code, the exact requirements? Because when someone's applying for an apprentice license, to have a W-2 to prove that you were employed means that you have been working as a plumber apprentice without a license, or you're likely to not have had a license.
Or W-2.
Huh?
Or a W-2.
Yeah, but if you're first applying for your first apprentice license, you wouldn't have a W-2 from a plumber.
So, Matt, wouldn't that require a change to Title IX? Well, I see no reason not to be, yeah. So, Brian brought up there that the city has changed some of the requirements to obtain a apprentice license.
Master and journeyman.
Or master journeyman or apprentice, and they're requiring W-2 forms that they've never required before. And for an apprentice. Well, I know, so they changed it on their website. My question to our legal counsel was, I would believe that would require a change to Title IX of the Philadelphia Code.
Licensing requirement, or did they change the document requirement? Licensing requirement.
I think that's both the same.
The license requirement doesn't dictate the exact document that proof. I would assume the department at their discretion to decide which document to provide. Right? The administrative code doesn't specifically say.
Title IX is very, very clear with the requirements.
Of a map signed. So that should be attached with a letter.
You have to have a letter from a master plumber stating
Yeah.
your apprenticeship. And
W-2, yeah.
I have been in the past successful with a letter from me as the master plumber saying they are employed. Some people accept it, some do not. I don't want to put Shane on the spot like her. I spend an inordinate amount of my time dealing with licensing issues because I have 150 apprentices and we have 900 members that for some reason all come to me when they have a license.
Because of your radiant personality.
Yeah. Well, let the person be around.
Huh? Can you help Musgrave for me then?
Matt, what do you think? And I know nothing here is binding. This is general discussion.
Statement current effective.
Right.
This statement must be on company letterhead signed by the.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
Brian said.
You're
right?
not always accepting it. License issuance, you don't know who you're dealing with when you submit an application for a renewal or a license. I'm assuming there's 5 to 10 people. Some accept the letter from the master plumber. Some
Is there anything on there, Shane, that mentions a W-2? All right, we're gonna have to check into it. We don't need you now, Matt.
You don't? Okay.
No, I think we're gonna have to possibly research this a little bit more in depth. Who would be the proper person to do that on behalf of the board? You, me, or any board member?
So I hesitate to put my advice on the record, you know, that our communications are privileged. Me stating this into the microphone in the recording breaks that privilege.
The public recording.
Public recording. But you know, I'm happy to do so. I looked to the 2017 executive order for what this board is empowered to do. And as much as I respect all of your opinions on what should be happening in licensing, I don't see any basis for an official action of the board to recommend changes to the way L&I licenses plumbers. For instance, in section 3 of that executive order, it lists 4 things: review future editions of the International Plumbing Code, take appeals for variances and extensions of time, weigh upon methods and materials, and assist with development of technical examinations, which is a piece of licensure, but it isn't the purview that you're suggesting.
Okay, I
But
appreciate that.
I mean, we've stated several times, this board, just through the 4 master plumbers on this board, represent a wide variety, if not the majority of the plumbers in the city of Philadelphia. And we do have a voice, you know, and maybe not
I think
an official action from the board, but
yeah.
we have a place and a voice to.
So in that case, my answer is I don't know who you would direct it to. It could be the commissioner of L&I. And I would just recommend that you sign it as Brian Gilbert rather than Brian Gilbert Plumbing Advisory Board.
Or we join with other associations, just to be that entail. But, yeah, we can't hear that and knowing that's what's going on out in the streets and where they're supposed to go. And it's here.
Yeah.
But I agree, you know, it's not our custody here to get to a remedy of the matter, but I think on behalf of the board, written, I don't see where that would be
By previous custom and use, we have been allowed the latitude by the department in the past to extend beyond the
And-
executive order.
I think as an advisory board, you're not risking any sort of sanction by writing a letter. It just isn't my recommendation that you exceed the specific bounds of the executive order
That's fine.
in your actions.
That's
But
fine.
if you're asking, is it prudent? You know, I would lean towards inaction or just personal action. If you're asking, what am I risking by signing something as the chair?
Well, I think,
I don't think you're risking anything.
I think, I appreciate your reply that, you know, Brian should sign it, but I also agree with Mr. Ingram that us doing it as a body, it carries that much more weight, you know. So I will confer with you on this before I take any action. But this rolls into licensing, which, as everyone in the room knows, that I've been dealing with the mayor's office over the last almost year about trying to get licensing back to the Plumbing Advisory Board, who fulfilled that task for 67 years prior to 2007. So I continue with that. There's a meeting, there's another meeting, oh, it's this week. No, next week. There's another meeting next week, which, you know, we're gonna continue to I use the term fight for it, but, you know, it's just something that, all right. Brian, your questions and observations are well noted. Mike Ingram, yours are too. And I will determine the best way to kind of approach this. All right, anybody else, anything under unfinished business? Sarah, anything on that? Good, okay. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, item number 8, new business. Anybody have any new business? Yes, I can tell you about that. So the ICC is not printing any more versions of the 2018 code, even with amendments. There's a read-only version, a buy-only download version from the ICC. There's a read-only version on L&I's website that contain the amendments through April 1st, 2024. No new books will be printed until the 21 code has been established. The status of the 21 code is the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania finally adopted the 2021 family of I codes in January. The status of Philadelphia is City Council hasn't agreed to take that up yet because of some other pending business of City Council. So we haven't got it. Our code update hasn't been approved by City Council yet, or hasn't not been approved by Department of Labor and Industry in Harrisburg. So that was a long answer to say there's going to be no printed versions of the 18 code from here forward with the amendments. There's already been contracts written with the ICC and City of Philadelphia to print the 21 version once it's been approved and established. So it's not, the other I codes are being adopted, but not the plumbing code. The accessibility code, I think the accessibility code's already been adopted, right? So there's other components of the family of I codes that will take effect in July in the city of Philadelphia, with the exception of the Philadelphia Plumbing Code.
Be like the IBC, IMC, IMPC.
Correct.
all 2021.
All 2021s.
With the amendments up to a certain point in time at which that.
That's-
When Shane said we're going to the new code in May. No, you,
27.
the email that, it wasn't Shane, but I'm giving him a hard time, may have been premature.
Well, in defense of the person that released that information, that was done based on what the chief code official and myself were led to believe by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. For sure.
It's kind of like running a 10-inch sewer without verifying where a 48-inch water main is. Same.
They only knew that after they installed it.
Okay, moving on. Any other new business? Anybody? Sarah, I do got you down for some unfinished business. Yeah.
Pretzels.
Pretzels. Mm-hmm.
The question came through the word, other department. Felt that it wasn't clear, so, clear.
On a stormwater lateral, or what do you mean?
No, Bill's questioning, or not Bill, but it might be Bill, but some people in PWD are questioning whether on a curb trap an FAI is required. So I think we can probably put this to rest right now. Because if we go under,
Vent, not fresh air inlet in the definition of building trap. A hub vent.
building trap, a running trap with a single hub vent installed in the building sewer to prevent the circulation of gases between drainage system and the building. Sure. So if you look at that definition in the plumbing code under building house trap, that single hub vent is basically another term for a fresh air inlet. Because if you look up, and I happen to bring this today because I thought we were gonna have to talk about, trap seal measurements. So even if you look under the manufacturer's book in Charlotte, under part number SV 174, which is a running trap with a single vent, it even suggests that being a fresh air inlet. So it's the same meaning.
Damn, I was right with the number and all.
Well, it does when you go to chapter 10. When you go to chapter 10,
There's also a requirement for fresh air inlet location.
yes. If you go to chapter 10 under building, house traps, and fresh air inlets. Bill, if you're suggesting that we should combine the two, fresh air inlet or single hub vent, if you're suggesting that, but I mean, I think it's an understood term throughout the industry.
It should say building trap and fresh air inlet.
And that's fine. I mean, that, I
think that's what it came from, kind of being like, that, contractor side or 15, I don't know, gallons or information time. So I don't, I get these questions. I get all day long, like, question job forms, and as soon as I see altered area code,
So Bill, what I could do is
Fair enough.
I can prepare a brief summary from the board talking about, fresh air inlet and vent on single vent trap. I mean, I can do that and I'll be happy to do that. I'm not so certain if we present that to the chief code official that it's going to be compelling enough to change the code itself. Because it's an understood term. Okay.
Another issue.
Well, you know what? What's that? What's that code? What's that code website, Dave, that you always talk about? Upcodes. Upcodes always cite the wrong codes anyway. So. And just like the case we heard today,
I don't know,
the history of what?
I don't know if I was even on, I pay for premium digital.
No, because they're a clean out and an FAI is two different things. Do you mean that, do you mean the section in chapter 10 that says if you're connecting a storm sewer to a separate storm or a storm building drain to a, that could be a clean out because that's not a trap. That doesn't breathe. The storm system itself, the roof drains breathe the storm system. But in where there's a house trap required, the reason for the house trap is that continual circulation of air. Combined or sanitary. You don't see traps because not many jurisdictions outside the city of Philadelphia require traps any longer.
Driven by how many of our houses are connected.
Good. And we go right back to that term, dense urban environment.
You know what I mean? Like that concentration, they don't bother me with this. I only live 3 hours outside the city, you know. 3 hours. Live in the middle of the acre.
You might forget you're still
If you want to see your own electric out there, knock yourself out.
Yeah. All right, Bill, I will, do you think you want me to prepare that summary or is that response good enough? If you discover with your team that response and they need further clarification, then we'll do a summary thing. Mhm. All right, new business, anybody else? Somebody, anybody, nobody? Somebody, anybody, nobody? Somebody, anybody, nobody? Hearing none, I'm sorry? Did somebody say something? Oh, I'm sorry.
The email? You weren't invited, sorry.
You seen the email? You were invited. You didn't come last time. You were off somewhere with Mike Bellata, but I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there, but we had a wonderful time. Next item on the agenda, item number 9, next scheduled meeting is Thursday, May the 7th, 2026, right here in this room. And thank you all, on a personal note, thank you all for showing up early so we can get signed in. I think we gotta even try and get here a little bit earlier because I don't know why we all have such difficulty with the city system, but we do. But thank you for that. With that, the time being 11:25, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Deb, you can show us off recording now. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Gab. Appreciate all your help.